The press office of Gavin Newsom is still mocking the hell out of MAGA. And so people seem to appreciate that I go over to the Twitter and over to Live Social to gather the screenshots for you all. This is the first thing I see when I open up the Twitter, literally the first thing. So the White House puts out this photo. They put it in this color scheme probably because Trump looks like death warmed over. Close to 87% dead, he looks like. And he still looks terrible in this picture. But we got Just Dance Vans, 87% dead, Donald Trump, and we got Kexeth right here. So this is what they put. The White House put these eye emojis. And here is the press office of Gavin Newsom. This is their response. They actually... This was the first comment that I saw just like this. I can't get over that this is how they are responding to the White House. They do not take the White House seriously at all, even though these people look much more alive than 87% dead Donald Trump. The jobs number was abysmal. I decided to go over to Fox Entertainment News to see what they were talking about. But this is the first thing I saw. Just in, Trump just signed his 200th executive order since returning to office. And then it says that's more than Joe Biden did in his entire term in office. Trump says Biden never signed one. It was signed by AutoPen, right? Okay, the way they are kind of celebrating this is terrible because number one, a lot of these executive orders are getting overturned by the courts because many of the things that he's doing is illegal. But all of these executive orders just show that he can't get any actual legislation passed through his Congress, even though he has both the House and the Senate. He's having to do all of these executive orders because they can't come together and pass legislation that will stick and stay. Most of these things that he's signing, if it does stay, is going to be overturned anyway. The press office is talking about jobs, though. It says over the last 3 months, manufacturing is down 31,000 jobs. Mining is down 13,000 jobs. Construction is down 10,000 jobs. Unemployment is up. June jobs report revised negative. This may be Trump's golden era, but it's not America's. And I've already said this before. September is going to be a hot mess because right now the numbers are bad. But once these severance packages hit that the federal government took, where these people have not been working ever since Doge came in and offered them severance packages, once these people are completely off the books, the numbers are going to drop even that much more. Unemployment rate is going to really go up. So the next post from the press office, it says, just in, as Trump cuts the U.S. Forest Service, Governor Gavin Newsom announced today that California is joining the Northwest Wildland Firefighting Compact with Canadian governments and other U.S. states to keep our residents safe. So Gavin Newsom is having to circumvent his own president and go up to Canada to keep California and the West Coast safe because Donald Trump is a petulant child and he's like, nope, we're not going to do anything. But a lot of the land in California is federal land that the president is tasked with keeping safe. He doesn't want to because it's a blue state. This picture for Donald Trump is hilarious, and y'all are going to have to forgive me, but I'm about to make it bigger. So I'm putting a trigger warning here. If you are eating or drinking anything, please push it to the side. This is your fair warning. This is your trigger warning. Please push any food or drink to the side. Why does his neck look like he's been putting something in there? Why is his nose look like is about to rot off of his face? And then the discoloration around his eyes and the fact that he refuses to blend his makeup, it is so laughable. This man is such an unattractive person and he looks like he is rotting from the inside out. Y'all need this picture. It says, winter is coming for America's economy. Great work, Donald. Y'all needed that. The Shallow State says, that's the poster that needs to hang in the White House after he's gone. Trump Tracker says, hope everyone saved up and is not trying to retire anyone soon. No retirements. Y'all just keep going to work. Drink some extra coffee. I know coffee has doubled in price. I do know. But y'all better get some coffee, get a little rest, and get back to work. New England veteran says, judging this pic, I give it a 10, an effing 10 I still got Goodwood Varsity Blues. Somebody needs this picture too. You're welcome. So Margaret posts this for us. It says, Saint Upid, patron saint of economic collapse. You need that? Take the screenshot. Here, I'll move again. Take the screenshot. Now you got to see this video. This man, Ronnie Jackson, is a lawmaker in Texas, but he went to D.C. to sue Gavin Newsom because Gavin Newsom is putting the maps to a vote. He is irritated with that, even though it's a reaction to Texas redistricting and gerrymandering in Texas. So Texas started all of this, and this man is saying to California, you can't retaliate. The hypocrisy of these people is amazing. Anyways, I'm going to play the video. You need to see the video because the hypocrisy is just jumping out the video.
Congressman Ronnie Jackson from the great state of Texas, coming to you today from Washington, D.C. I wanted to make everybody aware of the fact that on Friday, I filed a lawsuit against greasy Governor Gavin Newsom for his illegal and unconstitutional efforts to redistrict the state of California. Now, he has stated that this is in direct retaliation towards the state of Texas for our recent legal and appropriate efforts to redistrict in our state. I also requested from the judge today a restraining order to prevent this illegal initiative from ending up on the ballot in November in the state of California. I'll let you know how this goes. You can follow up and I'll keep you up to date on how this goes. But I want to tell Governor Newsom directly right now, Governor, you need to focus on the disaster that you have created during your tenure as governor in the state of California. Your state is an absolute embarrassment. You are doing this because you are trying to increase your name recognition and trying to get some attention so that you have a better chance for running for president in the next presidential election. I tell you that most people in this country see this for what it is. The people of California have already spoken on this issue. They created a commission to redistrict in their state. They did this so people like you, politicians that want to weaponize their power and their authority, would not take this process over for political and personal reasons. We are going to sue you and we are going to win this. And once again, focus on the job at hand. The people of California elected you to do a job, and you are too concerned about your own personal political promotion to do your job. Do your damn job.
The press office of Gavin Newsom says a Texas court already ruled against you. And then they shared this right here. It says Representative Ronnie Jackson versus Shirley V. Weber. Before the court is plaintiff's motion for a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction. And if you look right here, plaintiff's motion for a temporary restraining order is denied. So they're like, dude, you already lost in Texas. Jim right here says Ronnie Johnson needs to worry about keeping President Stroke alive and stop worrying about California. The press office says, how bad are today's jobs numbers? Trump talking Epstein bad, which reminds us, release the files. Let's look at what Donald Trump is saying right here in this long post. He posted this at 8:56 a.m. He says, the confused and badly failing Democrat Party did nothing about Jeffrey Epstein while he was alive except befriend him, socialize with him, travel to his island, and take his money. They knew everything there was to know about Epstein, but now years after his death, they, out of nowhere, are seeming to show such love and heartfelt concern for his victims. Does anybody really believe that? Where were they during his very public trials and for all of those years before his death? The answer is nowhere to be found. Now the dying, after the DOJ gave thousands of pages of documents in full compliance with a very comprehensive and exacting subpoena from Congress, Epstein case was only brought back to life by the radical left Democrats because they are doing so poorly with the lowest poll numbers in history of the party, 16%. While the Republicans are doing so well, among the highest approval numbers the party has ever had. The Dems don't care about the victims, as proven by the fact that they never did before. This is merely another Democrat hoax, just like Russia, and all of the others, in order to deflect and distract from the great success of a Republican president and the record-setting failure of the previous administration in the Democrat Party. The Department of Justice has done its job. They have given everything requested of them. It's time to end the Democrat Epstein hoax and give the Republicans credit for the great even legendary job that they are doing, make America great again. So he said all of this, but this first sentence right here, all they did while he was alive was befriend him, socialize with him, travel to his island and take his money, knowing that he has all of these pictures with Jeffrey Epstein. The projection is amazing to me. So the angry goose says if he had nothing to hide, he'd release the files. So in this cartoon, he's dancing with Epstein, and we have Just Dance Van saying, there's a UFO. Take this screenshot, use it for something. I go over to his page, and this is what he's talking about. Europe today hit another great American company, Google, with a $3.5 billion fine. Look how he capitalized billion and dollar, effectively taking money that would otherwise go to American investments and jobs. This is on top of the many other fines and taxes that have been issued against Google and other American tech companies in particular. Very unfair, and the American taxpayer will not stand for it. As I've said before, my administration will not allow these discriminatory actions to stand. Apple, as an example, was forced to pay $17 billion in a fine that, in my opinion, should not have been charged. They should get their money back. We cannot let this happen to brilliant and unprecedented American ingenuity. If it does, I will be forced to start a Section 301 proceeding to nullify the unfair penalty being charged to these tax-paying American companies. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. After that post, he posts this. In addition to my previously posted truth concerning Google, please let this statement serve to represent that Google has also paid in the past $13 billion in false claims and charges for a total of $16.5 billion. How crazy is that? The European Union must stop this practice against American companies immediately. So he posted that this afternoon, or somebody posted that on his behalf. And so this is what he's talking about. He's not talking about the jobs numbers because they are abysmal, even though he fired the lady last month. And even with firing her, he still can't get numbers that look good this month. And this is what it looked like this morning. Jerome Too Late Powell should have lowered the rates long ago. As usual, he's too late. And then before that, the first post this morning was talking about Jeffrey Epstein. He's talking about Jeffrey Epstein as a distraction. Like, let's talk Jeffrey Epstein now. Let's talk Jeffrey Epstein now. Let's talk, the Democrats did it. So that is where they're going with this. And then finally, just in case you need this, so the 20% says, we all know he's on the list. And he shows one of Donald Trump's other books, The Art of Distraction. Are you distracted? Are you able to talk about the Epstein victims and the abysmal job numbers at the same time? We are going to go ahead and continue to talk about him because he is a failure. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about all of these.